Hello YouTube. I spent 10 hours deciding where I want to move. And in this video I'm going to be talking about what I found. So for those of you who don't know, I make travel content. I am currently based in Las Vegas, Nevada, right? But I've been to 16 countries, and ever since I was a little kid I always decided like, hey, I could see myself living in another country, right? A couple of years ago I had a health scare, and that made me realize like how much poison and stuff is in the American food, the American diet, cuisine, etc. I'll save you the details and get straight to the point here, but in another video I will talk more about the health situation I had. But long story short, it made me realize that, okay, I want to live somewhere else. So in my mind I always thought this like, for years, and I would do my little research here and there. Recently I spent many hours doing this research, right? And I came up with a list of a few places that I am currently considering living. So I'm going to go by them one by one. And I'm also going to talk about things I found out along the way that may change my perspective. First is Spain. So for those who don't know, when I was in college I did a study abroad program in Spain. I lived there for like 6 months. And I was like, yo, this is nice. I can see myself living here, And some time passed by and, traveled to other places. But I decided like, hey, maybe this could be a good area. So upon my research I found out that Spain is about 10% cheaper roughly than the United States. Also depends on what part of Spain, what part of the United States you're going to live in. And then their food is a lot healthier, less chemicals, less processes, etc. If you've never been to Spain, or if you're interested in going to Spain, they have something called siesta. So throughout the day, and I thought this wasn't real at first, right? And then I went over there and seen it, but throughout the day they're going to actually rest. They're going to shut down parts of the city. People are not outside like that. So you'll see maybe 10 a.m. a lot of people outside, or 10 p.m. a lot of people outside, but during that midday segment there is a period of time where people go home, rest, come back a couple hours later and act like nothing happened, right? They come back refreshed. During the pandemic, Spain introduced the digital nomad visa. So currently it is a lot easier for Americans to go to Spain than it was previously. So this is one way you can get residency, right? Or at least I should say, temporary residency. As far as a lot of the visas, it's usually like 1 year. But there are rumors circulating that I've seen in my research that if you go there on a tourist visa and you apply for the residency visa while in Spain, you have a higher likelihood of getting the 3 years, because once you submit for the 1 year visa, or the visa in general, they have 20 days to reply. If they don't reply, then you automatically get the 3 years, from what I've been told. And I've been told that they usually don't reply in the 20 days. So that's a little bit of gems for y'all interested in Spain. Another one I was thinking about is Portugal. So the thing about Portugal is it's slightly cheaper than Spain. Some of my Spanish friends have told me that the people in Portugal are a little bit friendlier, and it's a little easier for Americans to go there, right? They have more friendly visas, they have retirement benefits, tax benefits, etc. So a little more foreigner friendly. The only thing I hear about them is that the food may not be as great as their neighbors to the east, right? So we got Spain, we got Portugal. Another one I've been looking at recently in the last month or so is Denmark, right? More specifically Copenhagen. So it's the bigger city, but even with the prices, I'm looking at the prices, like, sometimes I use Google Maps, I go to local restaurants, check the prices and stuff. I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. For some reason I thought it'd be like 3 times the price, double the price of the United States. Maybe I'm thinking more so like Sweden and stuff like that, but it's actually considered very affordable. From the research I was looking at, it can be cheaper than the United States. And for the people who are concerned about racism, it appears as though they have laws. They were set in stone, and I believe the year is 2002, where they specifically said it is illegal for anyone to discriminate against other groups, show racism towards other groups, etc. And people can be jailed and fined for that. So I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting. And then when you go online and you look at healthiest diets in the world, because I'm big into food, they are constantly in the top 10. So I'm like, okay, that seems like they use less processes, less chemicals in America. So that seems like that could be a move, right? A bit harsh. But yeah, so that's why they're on my list as well. But I was considering somewhere like Greece, Italy, etc., but I've been hearing some bad things from other expats. If you have been to Greece or Italy, let me know, because I would like to know. But from what I've seen, there have been reports in these two places as far as them maybe not being as open to outsiders as other European countries. I have been told, though, as far as when it comes to Italy, that the southern part of Italy is more friendly, different type of culture, different type of food, etc. Whereas if you're in central or northern Italy, there have been more reports of unfavorable behavior towards certain groups of people, if you get what I'm trying to say. Now, I understand that there's going to be a level of discrimination, prejudice, etc. in many parts of the world, if not all parts of the world, right? So one of the things I see when I read comments, when I read forums, etc., I see, hey, why don't people check out Africa more, right? It's kind of like it doesn't get that much attention, especially outside of Ghana and South Africa. So I've been looking at African countries as well. You know, I've been seeing some YouTubers, you know, enjoying Northern Africa like Morocco, Tanzania, etc. You know, Kenya is a potential option, right? They have clean food. I won't have to experience as much discrimination, right? These are some of the categories that I'm considering. So we talk about Europe, we talk about Africa, but where else could we look at to go, right? I originally thought Brazil might be a nice one, but I decided against it because I found out that they are heavily processed. So the same thing I was trying to avoid in the States as far as the bad food is one of the things that they are suffering with over there as well. They're one of the more, they're what's called ultra processed. So you have some nations like the United Kingdom or USA that could be considered processed food, but then you got places like Brazil which is considered ultra processed. And it made me think, like when I was in Brazil, I went there for like 10 days, and it made me think like, oh, when I was down there, I did have some digestive issues, right, because of the food. So that's off the table. Potentially Panama could be on the table from the research I've done, but I have to go there first to get a real vibe. So I'll be going there probably in the next couple months. Outside of that, it leaves us with Asia. So Asia is interesting. It's interesting because there's a certain sense of ease with a lot of Asian countries, right? For people who've been watching my video, you know I feel comfortable. I'm outside, like holding my camera. I'm not worried about somebody snatching it, right? Like I would in certain parts of Europe or certain parts of the States, etc. If you're in Thailand, if you're in Malaysia, if you're in Japan, if you're in Singapore, if you're in South Korea, typically in those particular Asian countries, I would even potentially throw Vietnam and some others in there as well. You don't have to worry about like petty crimes, theft, danger, firearms, etc. It's like so rare. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's still so rare to happen. So for someone who's in the travel space, that's an ideal situation. Because I'll be honest with you, when I go to certain countries, I can't bring or I can't use certain cameras in public, right? So I do have the GoPro, but to be honest, I don't prefer shooting with the GoPro like that. I prefer like the cameras with higher quality, but the higher quality cameras are bigger, they draw more attention, it's hard to handle, people can like run up and snatch it. So I gotta be careful when I'm doing that aspect of it, right? But as far as Asia, the places I would potentially consider living is Japan's one. Upon my research, I have found out that there are certain areas of Japan that are cheaper than the States, which is good. They have a healthier cuisine. They have a growing diversity. They're still a, I believe the word is homogenous country where over 90% of the people are the same ethnic background, but they do have some diversity coming in as far as different religious beliefs, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, nationalities, etc., different ways of life, right? Also, Japan is making it a lot easier to get in little by little, so that's always greatly appreciated. As far as Singapore, it seems like a cool place to live, right? I already got a buddy out there. I've been out there, kind of get the vibes of it. It's safe, it's affordable. You know, they got a lot of incentives as far as the financial investment game. But it seems like you really need to have your money in order before you go. Like, I'd probably say, like, even to go out there for a summer, like, let's say you wanted to try to go out there for 3 months, try to get a job, get things going, blah, 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 blah. To feel truly, truly comfortable, I feel like you would need at least 30 grand just for one summer. Like just to get by in that summer. It's extremely expensive out there. It's mostly the housing. The food is not too bad price. But I do love it out there. I kind of felt like I was in California, especially with the breeze, with the ocean, with the vibes of the people. They got a certain open-mindedness to them. It's very refreshing. You could do a cheaper option in Malaysia. That's the option I was looking at one point. I've been doing a lot of research on Malaysia. I've been there, I think, maybe 3 times now. They do speak English, so you don't have to worry about that barrier. They're very friendly towards outsiders. They have some of the best food in Asia, in my personal opinion. But after my last trip there, I don't really see myself living there. You know, it's different once you travel somewhere, do some research, etc. Then once you actually spend a significant amount of time there, really get to know what's going on, you may start to put pieces of the puzzle together that you didn't see previously. For example, I live in Las Vegas, right? When I first came to Las Vegas, I was naive, I was young, I didn't know I didn't know what was going on. But now that I've experienced more life, I met more people out here, I see what's going on, I can see the dark side of Las Vegas, and it's not somewhere that I would want to live permanently. It's cool for tax benefits because there's no state income tax. There's a certain sense of privacy when it comes to entrepreneurs and things of that nature. But I just don't think it's a great environment for like a family or safety or education. It's the second worst education in the entire nation, right? So where else in Asia can we go? Well, what about Thailand? A lot of people are retiring there, right? Thailand is cool. However, there is somewhat a sense of locals. There is a certain percentage of locals who are tired of foreigners. I'll just say it like that. You may not see it, especially your first time there, but after you start talking to thousands of people there, whether it's foreigners, whether it's locals, once you start doing more research, reading the articles, watching other content creators in the space, seeing interactions, seeing how people treat you, they're very respectful people. Don't get it wrong. Thailand is way safer than the United States and typically more respectful than the United States. However, what I have come to realize is, you know, it may not be the same Thailand as a Thailand when you talk to people who've been there 10, 15 years ago. 10, 15, 20 years ago, it seems like that's like the golden era. That's when people enjoy it. Now you go there and you can see a lot of American influence, a lot of social media influence. You can see maybe some resentment towards foreigners, things of that nature. It's a great place to visit. I just don't see myself living there permanently, especially after that earthquake situation. Being there during the earthquake, it kind of opened my eyes to certain things that I'm not going to go into details fully in this video. I'll save you that. But for me, that's not a option at this particular moment. I am excited to check out Vietnam though, and I will be going to Vietnam in the next couple of months here. If anyone's been to Vietnam, make sure you let me know in the comment section. But yeah, these are my honest opinions as far as what I've been researching. If anyone wants to correct me or give me some information that I left out, or maybe you're more equipped in certain areas, hey, leave it in the comment section or send me a message on Instagram. I have been responding to every message on Instagram, every message on Discord, every message on TikTok, right? So the only messages I haven't responded to are the people who are trying to like sell me services. They'll be like, yo, sign up for my marketing, blah, blah, blah. But other than that, I've been very good at responding to everyone, even with my near 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, and even with my over 200 followers on Instagram. I don't care how many followers you got. Maybe you got 5 followers, maybe you got 50,000. I'm still going to respond to your message, and I'm going to keep doing that as long as I can before my channel gets, too big. Maybe when I get 1 million subscribers or something, it might be too much. But make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and tell me what other countries I should add to my list. Where else should I research, right? I didn't look at all countries because there's so many countries in the world. So if you have a suggestion for me, I'm open-minded. Leave it in the comment section or message me. Peace.